Somewhere in the depths of the orbital, a space rodent scurries across a gantry before stopping to nibble on a cable. There's a fizz, and its fur stands on end, a frisson of ethereal sparks twinkling at the ends of its whiskers. It turns its head towards the sound of an approaching Momus Bog Spaniel hunting team and scurries off at speed into one of many dark corners. A following camera flies down the corridor in forlorn pursuit, past dripping pipes, over floor-mopping guy's bucket, up an access shaft and then down another corridor, a little cleaner than the others, but not much, up to a door that has the stencil Studio 4 on it. The 4 has been crossed out in marker pen and the number 5 written in its place, standing out against the scorch marks on the door. After a second, the door swooshes open and the floating camera passes through the now empty green room, not pausing to direct the lens at the beer cans that haven't been cleared up since last week, and it focuses on the on-air light. It isn't lit, so the camera pauses for a second until it's lit, and the speaker in the green room emits the words,
"Our mics are live."
Good evening and welcome to Hutton Orbital Live. I'm your apology officer, Mia Harkness, and this week I've got nothing to apologise for.
Yet.
What do you mean, yet?
Well, we've got a whole show to go yet.
Hang on, I resemble that remark.
No, it wasn't about you. It's about these articles. I mean, who writes this stuff?
He's not here. We can say what we want.
To be fair, we usually do.
Well, before that, we'd better see what he had to say in this week's news. LCU no more. Cannon misfires live-ish.
Stargoid spotting causes panic in the rim.
Too hot, too messy. Update 13.
Serverland served cold.
Tyr is officially revolting.
Time to state the state of Hutton.
We'd received an emergency broadcast earlier this evening. Okay, it was only a couple of hours ago, and it appears that hot on the heels of the spooky kidnapping of the Pilots Federation team a few weeks back, LCU No Full Leg One has gone missing during a live pre-recorded broadcast. Cannon are unable to tell us exactly when the live pre-recorded kidnapping happened, as they hadn't noticed he'd gone until they saw the VT he'd sent to the Pilots Federation for their broadcast this evening. They can, however, confirm that he's not there anymore aboard the Gnosis, and his transponder has been turned off. But, correction, his ankle bracelet. The one fitted by the correctional facility, so they can keep an eye on him. The first thought was that he'd skipped off mid-sentence to go on a bender with Cecil, but as Cecil was in a different part of the bubble entirely, they ruled that one out. Second in their mind was the suggestion that everyone should get aboard his carrier and hightail out to Beagle Point before the Stargoids arrive was such a good one that he took his own advice and left during mid-interview. However, it appears that his carrier hasn't moved. So, there are two culprits. Either his disgruntled students had heard moments before that he was actually rubbish at maths and had no idea what he was talking about, which puts their final year grade at risk, or a Thargoid infiltrator absolutely incensed at the thought that LCU was turning their cousins, first and second and many times removed, into jam and putting it on his toast. Whichever the case, the Pilots Federation representative has stated that they've sent Adam out to go and find LCU and they're sure he's fine. Oh, and has anyone got a mop and anything that gets bodily fluids out of a carpet?
Well, before he was kidnapped / did a runner, LCU's broadcast was extolling the virtues of various tools over at Canon. These tools, along with the software they use, have determined that the incoming Stargoids do indeed number 8, and they have a destination-ish. It's sort of in our direction, give or take a handful of light years. What's more, we're expecting them to be arriving sometime around the end of November, based on his supposition that they're also waiting for the next software update from the Pilots Federation. That said, this hasn't stopped people around the room worrying themselves silly. With the Stargoids approaching at speed, the kind of speed that travels through places at speed and not just jumping between places like an overexcited frog in the mating season, planet-side observatories in occupied worlds are now able to use, with the use of high-powered optical lenses, to actually see the incoming swirlies. Of course, with swirlies passing across a sky of a verdant green and blue Earth-like world with little bumpy bits capped in white, it has led to the classic mixture of "the end of the world is nigh" placard-wearing doommongers, nude hippies crying out for the aliens to take them away, and of course, chicken littling of the highest order. Scientists on these planets have been at pains to point out that the Stargoid is going past them and not heading for them. Something about angles and brightness and the visual Doppler effect and maths, but no one is listening. There has been looting, there has been rioting, there has been a boom in the sales of both "Take Me" and "Humans are not food" t-shirts and memorabilia, and of course, descendants of the Merkin people from Earth have all stocked up on guns and tins of spam. This Stargoid hysteria is expected to peak as they pass some of the more well-populated parts of the bubble. Assuming their directions are correct and they don't bump into anywhere famous en route like Lave or Deso, Barnard's Star, telescope sales are going through the roof, as are patented pro-poof underpants. All we can say is keep calm. And if you're in Seoul, I wouldn't worry as it's permit locked, and we're sure that the Thargoids haven't joined the Federation to obtain one. Of course, if you're next door in Alpha Centauri, well, oh bother. Taxi!
Too Hot Too Messy has now been going for 13 weeks. That's a whole 3 months, or a quarter of a year even. Too Hot Too Messy, what's that, you say? Well, A, where have you been hiding, and B, it's the Hutton-led initiative to deliver Hutton mugs and Centauri Megagin to every single station in the galaxy. This week, commanders have continued to drop off mugs and gin on doorsteps before dawn and are just short of 34,000 deliveries. Delivery numbers have remained healthy, with the weekly rates just under 2,000 delivered in recent weeks, but we won't achieve that this week at the current rates. So get stuck up, get involved and keep the momentum going. Remember, every mug counts, and you may just win a real mug by taking part. 3 more commanders joined the effort this week, taking the total to 222 pilots spread across 74 squadrons, and of course, more are always welcome. Naturally, Hutton are blazing away at the head of the squadron leaderboard and are approaching a collective tally of 14,000 deliveries. The Winged Hussars are in second with over 1,900 muggings, and the Paladins are holding third with 1,340. Him is still out in front with almost 3,000 mugs and gin delivered. Some say that he's been upgrading his weapons this week. However, he's been chased down by Nem, who has just passed 2,200 deliveries, but Commando Waller 81 is closing the gap on Nem and lies third with over 2,000 muggings. Commander Mouse 8287 hasn't moved for several weeks, in fourth, with Infinite Dreamer fifth, only 200 behind. 5 commanders have delivered more than 1,000 mugs. How do we know all this? Because it's tracked by the marvel that is the Hutton Helper and updated live on the Too Hot Too Messy event page at hot.forthemug.com/hotmess2. At this rate, we'll have delivered a canister of Hutton mugs and Centauri Megagin to every station in the galaxy by, well, before the heat death of the universe, but we aren't going to speculate on a precise end date, and we'll find more and more stations. The list has grown to just north of 200,000. Apart Apart from the glory alone, there's an additional incentive in the form of a chance to win a real-world, gravity-assisted mods-preventing Hutton mug that you can fill with tea, gin, or whatever you like as you happily take Hutton mugs to where no Hutton mug has gone before. Any commander that delivers 10 mugs and gin in a week will be entered into that week's draw to win a real Hutton mug. Unless you already have one, of course, in which case you'll already have been immunised against mods. 12 commanders have accomplished this so far. You can see a little gold mug next to their names in the top commanders table, so keep listening for this week's winner to be announced in the banter bit after the news. How do I join in the fun, I hear you ask? Well, first you need to sign up by downloading the Hutton Helper from hot.forthemug.com/download, where your mug and gin deliveries will be automatically registered for you by Antarius Fusion's arithmetical rodents.
Incoming message from Commander Servalan. Message begins. The Halloween horror of Blight in Alpha Centauri led me to load up the T9 Space Cow Bovine University to the hilt and consequently head off to Alpha Centauri. Too big for any of the stations, I quickly eyed up Megani drilling rigs as a hot surface settlement where I could dump said treatments. The usual interdiction attempt occurred and was swiftly, not a phrase that should be associated with the T9, averted. It's great to have you back, Commander, came the call from the surface base. Very odd, I've never been here before. Unfortunately, it seems that when landing the Blight had just cleared, so did they want my ergonomic treatments? Did they heck? Whilst trying to decide what to do next, I made the cardinal error of taking the dog for a walk and not logging out. Decided upon my return to head off to another location to dump it all off, probably at a loss. However, it seems that local pirate Coleman Day had other plans and had destroyed the ship. Yeah, that ship, the one that doesn't have any ship's shields installed, and cargo. Total loss, wipeout, etc., etc. Not a huge issue. I'm probably only down about 12 million, including cargo and rebuy costs. End of story? Well, not really. Today I went back to Megani Rigs to vent and complain to the base administrator Dixie McGee. I wonder if she's related to Debbie. Whilst on foot, I inadvertently failed to submit to Carter Price for a scan. It's only a minor infraction, I thought, but in the subsequent chaos that occurred, I raced back to the ship, launched and was destroyed about 300 metres up. Very apt for the Day of the Dead. If you happen to roll by Cubicle 3 and hear mournful wailing, it's probably me drowning my sorrows with a bottle of Centauri Mega Gin. Message ends. We're very sorry to hear of your troubles, Commander Servalan. Or should that be Supreme Commander Servalan? Progenitor Leia Wolf has sent a sternly worded letter to her dear friend Dixie, asking her to forgive your transgression and, if possible, please return your fuzzy dice, cuddly teddy bear and mobile charger from the wreckage. All three have sentimental attachments for you, we understand, though the stuff we found in a secret compartment in Mr. Cuddle's belly might get you into a little trouble with customs.
After recent updates from Colonia about the bad blight beleaguering Tyr, we're delighted to announce that after Mindwipe and Hanky climbed into the same hazmat suit together, well, they're both very slim chaps, and after some pushing and shoving and learning how to walk with 4 legs and 2 holes, the pair of them successfully managed to spray antifungal treatments on their spuds, and the blight has been lifted. Unfortunately, the sight of the two of them occupying the same hazmat suit, and the strange gait and noises it made whilst wandering around the agridomes of the system, has rather upset the locals. They've declared a state of emergency, an alien invasion, and quite possibly an outbreak of OMG, what the mug is that thing? leading to panic, civil unrest, and the population attacking anything with 2 faces, or 4 legs, or making exactly that weird moaning noise. Which, of course, led Hotcol to lose a little influence, and end up in an accidental election against the Colonia Council, which, whilst if they lose wouldn't be the shortest time an elected individual has held office, it would certainly give the lettuce a run for its money. Anyway, out of the blight and into the riot, as they say. We're sure that once they work out how to undo the zipper on the hazmat suit, get a stiff drink, and make all the right noises at the locals to reassure them that, for a trucker, sharing is caring, even if it means protection from evil space plague, then they'll be forgiven. However, for the time being, the local population is listed as deeply unhappy, with pending, "I'd like to see the manager, please."
I know it's still silly season, but this week we have a system defying gravity, the BGS rules and anyone who shows a vague interest, a system enthusiastically following the laws of gravity, a larger than expected bust at home, and a system that is elated about nothing working. More on those stories coming up. Ross 671 has maintained its spectacular decline, consistently losing a point of influence per day for over 3 weeks, with no apparent or obvious cause, leaving it on 29. The nearest faction is on 21, so by this time next week, unless we muster trade to in excess, the system will be in dire straits, so boost it as a matter of priority in order to maintain the status quo. This week's race to the bottom is pretty much a dead heat for second, with Barnard Star's infrastructure failure just putting it ahead a short nose of Avic on 34. Despite nothing working in Barnard Star, the population is elated, probably as they can see the galaxy above without all those pesky streetlights. Why not spoil their fun by shipping in water purifiers and power generators to the large pads in Boston Base and Miller Depot and get things up and running again whilst you make a tiny profit? Meanwhile, Avic seems to find it harder to pick itself up after its series of squabbles with Sirius Corporation, who are only 6 points behind. So boost poor little Avic through trade, dropping data, and by handing in bounties to keep it out of the clutches of Lee Yong-ri. The populous and ever difficult to shift Epsilon Indy is on one of its long cycles of decline after a period of steady gain, leaving it just below par on 38. Our home system, Alpha Centauri, recovered from a dose of blight, but the hit to mug production and the economy has sent it nose first into a large bust, leaving it on 47% because every other faction is either bust and suffering civil unrest, so trade, dump data and hand in bounties to lift the bust. On 68, LP532-81 has maintained its gravity-defying bust for 2 weeks, and attempts to relieve it have merely resulted in it going up further, but hopefully we'll see a reduction soon. At the overachieving end of the Hutton systems table, we have 4 systems above 60%, led by that gravity-defying bust, and thankfully we aren't looking to expand anywhere soon. Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, boost Alpha Centauri, and ship water purifiers and power generators into Barnard Star to relieve the infrastructure failure.
Oh, that was all very interesting.
Was that seamless?
Yeah, pretty
seamless?
much, yeah.
Seamless.
Seamless. You must be saving all
There
the
she is.
for the
She's
last
not
time.
here, but she's always here.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. Was there a Frontier live stream this week?
Yes.
No, there's never one of them.
Well, there was.
Wait,
and
there was.
Well,
Oh
there
my
was, and then
goodness.
there wasn't, and then there was.
Oh,
More on that story later.
more than that story earlier.
So, it was this afternoon at 4. And,
Oh, okay.
And as we know what happened last weekend, that's a 4 with no correction. So it's 4. It's 4. It's
just
4 in the
4
afternoon.
for
It's
everybody.
4. It's not 4 game time, 4 UTC.
So
It's all of those. Unless...
So-
Go on. Yes?
So
Yes,
what you're saying is that it happened on the right day and at the right time.
Yes.
What's going on?
Are we...
Are they all right?
Well, we say it's full with no correction, of course, unless you're on the night shift and you've got your very own 4 o'clock, which we never really get to see unless we're going on holiday or have insomnia or something.
Yeah, I've been picked up from the airport at American 4.
So, remember, for you insomniacs out there, there's only 4 more sleeps till Christmas.
Yeah.
And 2 more PMs?
Yes. So, yeah, was it today, or certainly this week, Planet Zoo, as it's better known, is 3 years old.
Oh,
Do we have to sing to it?
Probably best not.
Yeah, probably best.
Can
Might
if
kill
you-
the plants.
Can if you like. Well, they like being...
Talking to plants is good for them, but
Oh,
I'm not sure that this is in the same category.
no.
So, Planet Zoo were using the usual Elite Dangerous studio, whatever,
Or Zudio.
wherever that, Zudio, whatever that is. So, Alf and Sally had to make do with the back seat of a Mamba.
If you're going to sit in the back seat of a ship, Mamba's a good one. It's got that kind of dome on the top.
Yeah, it's got that nice sort of curved canopy. Yeah. But they were facing backwards, and there was no. You couldn't see the back of somebody's head. So who was flying it was anybody's guess.
I bet they felt sick after a while, though.
Well, it was quite funny because it was at one point it was flying towards a star, and the star was right behind Arf's head. So when you combine starlight with Arf's head, what do you get?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, blinding glare. So
Did somebody run in and clouded his head?
It was quite funny because it
nearly got hit by an asteroid on his head.
But it was quite funny at one point because as his head sort of just eclipsed this star, it looked like a halo, like light glowing out of his head.
Not deliberate at all.
No. Sure.
You know,
Stage that.
I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere about how he was flying the ship when he was sitting like that, but it's before the watershed, so I won't look too hard for it.
So it was Arf and Sally, and of course Sally's back after being kidnapped 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But so obviously the ransom was raised. But where was Bruce?
They only had enough to get one.
Exactly.
Bruce.
No, they paid extra to only get one.
Yeah.
Yes, they paid money to keep Bruce. He's always, as Arf mentioned, was he out denim shopping?
Oh.
Apparently, it must be a thing.
Yeah, must be.
So, Twix
Please
drops.
no, not the jeans.
Yeah. A new pair of PJs for autumn.
Yeah.
It's getting cold,
lovely.
so they are helpful.
Yeah,
I hope it's fleecy ones.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's chilly at night these days.
Don't shoot me in the jeans, but the face is okay, but not in the jeans.
Yeah.
We've got those leafy paint jobs again. Now, you will have seen these paint jobs before, because 2 weeks ago we showed you the same paint jobs, but they were medium sized and fitted on a Python, and very, very fetching they were too. But this week, it's your old friend, the Cobra Mark III. It was a bit smaller and a bit flatter.
How did you do it? How did they do them, do you think? Is
How
it
do you
like
mean?
those things where they
Hot
get
wash.
they get a giant leaf and put it on top and then leave it on leave the ship on a windowsill for a couple of days?
Well, it's just spray can, isn't it?
Oh.
It's just.
Oh,
But you're not gonna-
I like the thought of putting it on a window for a couple
I
of
mean,
days.
I'd like to see the
What,
bloody.
they put it on a spray can for a couple of days?
I'd,
Yeah.
That's strange.
I'd like to
fall
see
off.
the tree that those leaves came off, though. I mean, bloody hell.
Yeah.
No, it's just a very, very small ship.
Yes.
Right. Maybe it's far away.
One
it
of
could
them's
be,
far
yeah.
away, yeah.
Yeah.
One of them's far away and one of them's very close.
So, what did they talk about? Well,
What did
Some-
they talk about?
some news. You're supposed to be asking me that.
I just did.
It's called prompting.
So what did they talk about?
What did they talk about?
Thank you.
Yeah, what did you talk about?
What did they talk about, chicks?
Thank you.
Nah, I don't want to know anymore.
Did they talk about anything good?
It's okay, I've just read it in the script. It's fine, I don't need to ask.
They talked about. Well, they talked. It's talked about. He's stretching it. They mentioned update 14.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought we were going to get a sound effect there, but it passed. Update 14 is coming at the end of the month.
Oh, excellent.
So
Isn't update
Did they
14
say
meant
which
to be
month?
one of...
End of November, it says here.
This month.
Ooh.
This month.
Did they say which year?
Which year?
Isn't update 14 meant to be one of the big ones? Because you know what? Start of the year's a big one, two small ones in the middle, and a big one at the end.
They did say there was a lot in it, and then just left you on that.
Oh yeah. They just want to
just talk about teas. But
Yes.
they'll be back in 2 weeks, so I imagine they might talk a little bit more.
They should really, because 2 weeks will be in the middle of November.
Yes, you are correct. So yeah, we sort of got to dangle a teaser, and that was that.
It's a dangler. They left us. They gave us a dangler and left us.
Yes. Elite danglerous.
Well, better to leave us with a dangler than talk a load of bollocks.
Yes.
There was an awful lot. There was a lot of Pollux talked.
Yes.
In the it was the last of the what do they call them? Stellar scream shots, which somebody coined for the silly season. And editor, quite an informative discussion with Sally about when somebody mentioned Pollux and said it's an alternative cod. It turned into a bit of a sort of fish recipe show at that point.
Yeah, she's not wrong.
No, she don't.
As an alternative. I'm going to say Odyssey's become an alternative to COD. If you first thought of COD as Call of Duty,
if you like a bit of combat,
yeah, that's right.
Did they mention the Fill in the Blanks competition at all? They said they might do.
Well, they may have done later on, but
right.
and the reason I didn't see all of the show
I missed the first half, you see, so I thought.
Well, I missed the second half after the
well,
interlude.
It wasn't in the second half, so.
And it wasn't in the first half.
I missed
I
the middle half.
I got a message off Sally this morning saying that I'd won one of the prizes on it.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
I thought you said you didn't win anything, Flossy. You mentioned that last week or 2 weeks ago.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I only got it this morning.
Well, I got accused of all kinds of stuff when I won a paint job.
That's because you rigged the votes and cheat.
Yeah, you dodgy
I
bastard.
rigged it. I was just quicker than anybody else.
What, you mean quicker than anybody else at rigging it?
Flossy wins through cunning, skill, dedication, and her amazing wit and humour. You just cheat. You see, that's the difference.
No, that's it. Blackmail, bribery, and intimidation is not cheating.
Surprised you don't have a Hutton
Yeah,
log
fair
yet.
point.
You had to fill it. I don't know if anyone saw this competition, but you had to fill in the blanks.
God,
I
that
thought
could
it
be
might be
dangerous.
where I fill in the blanks competition.
Nobody told Dead Meat that this was on.
No,
today,
Dead Meat thankfully didn't see us.
God,
Yeah, I never saw it either. I should really pay more attention these days.
was it fill in the boobs? I mean, blanks competition.
Well, it basically kind of would have been for Dead Meat. It was, what was it? I'm stuck alone in space and all I can see is blank.
Hang on, no.
Blank are going to save
I'll just
me.
find it for you. Just find it.
As Flossy's
Through the darkness of space, I could only see blank. Blank is all I had to survive, except I changed this to was, because it made more sense.
I thought we had another Flossy mouse battery incident there, and 2 weeks.
That's a vicious rumour. She never batters the mouse.
It just suddenly went quiet. We thought, oh no,
Oh no!
I said, through the darkness of space, I could only see the faint glow of my destroyed ship.
oh, flame glow of the rebuy screen.
My pink ectoplasm suit is all I had to survive.
Oh, you mentioned pink. It's no wonder Sally got you to
Well,
Yeah, that's
pink
why-
ectoplasm suit was what she was wearing when we had that. When she was on David's Carrier recently.
Yeah,
And I
Yeah.
said, oh, I like that. And I
that's the
bought
one with the big kind of
Oh,
splash
yeah, I
on it,
remember that,
right up and
yeah.
kind of diagonal.
You can only get it around Halloween time, so.
Yeah. I think I bought
That's
the yellow
right,
one of
but-
those. I think I bought the yellow one.
Yeah.
I also bought the Skellington one.
Skellington.
Skellington.
Yeah, it's
yes.
fun, the Skellington one.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
pumpkin
I've got
one, the Trickster.
Yeah, I think I got a pumpkin one this year
I
as
got
well.
the head, yeah.
Yeah, all different flavours of pumpkin head.
I got the spiced apple one, the greeny based one.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, it's kind of good.
I did go for the traditional orange one. I think I got a different colour. I might have got raspberry or something. I don't know.
So, they had a special guest, and a special guest known to Hutton, known well to Hutton, in the form of LCU No Fool Like One.
Was he live?
No, he was pre-recorded, with a guest appearance by Bruce from his kidnapper's
so
basement.
he was live pre-recorded.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or pre-recorded live.
Yeah,
that's
I'll
right.
tell you what, though, it's such an uncanny likeness of him, isn't it? The image they use for it.
It is, isn't it? So, and LCU was he's talking generally about Canon and what Canon do, but he talked specifically about the Stargoids, and how they were tracking them and what they were looking for, and there were some nice graphics of the routes these things were taking through the galaxy and permit lock systems and all this kind of stuff. It was quite interesting. I was just getting into it, and all of a sudden, it stopped.
All of a sudden, the Thargoids took exception to him giving away their secret plans.
Well, we were thinking it's an interdiction, as we heard in the news. And then, afraid that's all I saw. I got dragged away, and I didn't see any more of it. So, Flossy, tell us what happened after that.
Welcome.
Well, when I tuned in, he had Commander...
somebody tell us.
Commander Grinning Crow was on, wasn't he?
Who?
American.
I've got no idea.
I think he's one of the streamers. So Commander Grinning Crow.
Yeah, there's some.
Yeah. And he was having a chat with Arf.
Oh, I remember him.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I think he's a lore master for something.
He was on the. You remember the online? Do you remember the December Frontier meetup that turned into February? But we did the Christmas. Yeah, he was. We were in the same.
He was on that. Yeah,
team.
yeah. Well, he was on today. He was
good.
A bearded gentleman.
Yeah.
It's having a chat about all things elite lore, and it was good. It was an interesting conversation that we're having. So yeah, really nice.
What were they talking about?
Elite stuff.
Well,
and lore and
can
things.
you expand on elite stuff?
Not really.
It was you sure you
watched? Dipping in and out, but I was running about trying to do stuff in the house, so I couldn't sit in front of it.
What was he talking about, Flossy?
Spaceships and things.
Yeah, spaceships and things.
I wasn't paying full attention because I was doing CG stuff in the background. So.
He's worked at where Raxla is. They mentioned that, but I think they mentioned that. I wasn't really paying attention at that, but he didn't really. I mean,
well, that was riveting. It's like that.
Thank you.
It's
I think
like,
you feel that somebody's riveted you to something.
Well, it's like that documentary I watched last night on shipbuilding.
Yes. Right. So we did that.
So what else has been going? So that was the live stream. It's obviously on Twitch or YouTube if anybody wants to catch up with it.
Did you see the pictures from James Webb Space Telescope of the Pillars of Creation looking really creepy with the big... It was like a big clawy hand thing.
Just in time for Halloween, they
Just
turned
in
that
time
pretty
for
picture
Halloween.
into this really creepy skeletal version.
Yes. I think because it can see through the dust clouds.
Yeah.
They're much sharper as well. I was looking at some the other day, and it's just so sharp. There's a very good horizon on the BBC iPlayer at the moment about James Webb. So if you don't know what James Webb does or how it works, or
the person or the telescope, because they'd be two very, very different documentaries these days.
Yeah. I'm not sure he's still around. Actually, he was NASA
No, he's dead.
Administrator after the war, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but very good documentary, recommended.
Yes, but there has been more than a little bit of scandal about him since he departed this mortal coil.
Oh dear.
Well,
so there was, but there's been a lot of talk about people being deeply upset that they're actually naming a telescope after him. Level of controversy about what he was responsible for doing at the time. So, but it all came out after the announcement of the name, so they decided they were going to stick with it. But a lot of people now just call it JWST instead of using his actual full name to name it. So.
Cancel culture strikes in the 34th century.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's still out there in the 31st century.
Well, it won't last more than...
No, it'll be
obviously,
out of fuel
it'll run
by
out
then.
of fuel. Now,
Yeah,
somebody will probably recover it and stick it in a space museum, along with all the other junk.
Probably Elon Musk in his Starship.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Or his Tesla.
Speaking of which, when is it the BFR's going up?
It might be.
Or is it Artemis 1? I can see
They
a
have.
logo of it.
It also might be. They have an official estimated launch date for the next attempt at launching the Artemis 1.
Yes.
The next window opens at 4 minutes past midnight Eastern Time on the 14th of November.
Oh,
So that's like
just
5 in the morning here.
yeah.
Whether or not they hit that is right there up with whether or not they've hit the previous 5 or
Let's
6
stop
estimated launch
using-
dates over the
let's
last
stop-
6 weeks.
Let's stop using the word hit when we talk about the rocket
Yeah.
that's going up and round the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
fair.
not use the word hit.
But at the end of September, the good Mr. Musk announced that they might be trying to send the BFR, the Starship, up. And that it might even go up in October. Well, they missed that.
Yeah, they missed
But
that.
he didn't think that was likely. He thought there was a pretty good chance it would go up in November.
Nice.
So whether he's trying to beat SLS into orbit or not is anybody's guess.
Okay, it's 7 minutes past 9. What does BFR stand for?
Is
Big,
Oh,
fabulous
fucking
rocket.
we're after 9 o'clock, so we can say what we like.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, in that case, big
Actually-
fucking rocket.
Actually, the watershed doesn't apply on anything except the television.
Even then, it's mostly advisory as long as you're careful what you say.
Yeah, when you're on here, you can swear 24 hours a day and nobody cares.
Do you think we're going to need... Obviously, with NASA putting up their rocket and Musk trying his, Richard Branson shooting rockets, we're going to need some kind of traffic control very soon, aren't we? So we're like, go on then, light the blue. Oh, no, he's coming up. No, give way. You're going to have a...
Thankfully, we already have it. It's the FAA.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, the FAA. Well, certainly in American airspace, the FAA manage it all.
Right.
If you want to launch a big friendly rocket, then you have to apply for clearance to do so, and you have to arrange for the entire airspace through your primary area and danger zone in case of problems area to be completely cleared for the duration. And it
Okay,
takes
so
all sorts of permits and bookings, and then you have to clear all of the downrange stuff of things, which is why we even had shuttle launches cancelled, completely utterly scrubbed, because idiot tourists were out in motorboats wanting to get a really good view of the launch from underneath
God.
where it was going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, Coast Guard gets called out, they get arrested, move out, but by then they've missed the launch window and it's all gone. So yeah.
Can't we just rely on Darwin?
Yes.
I wish we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Beagle 2 sort of burned down, fell over and sank into the swamp.
Yeah. It's like they say, isn't it? Sometimes the gene pool needs a little bit of chlorine.
And sometimes it needs a lot.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I saw this story. This next story. It's Go on, who put this in here? Who wants to talk
Wasn't
about
me.
this?
I put the other rubbish in. I didn't put this rubbish in.
Oh, that was somebody who's not present, who writes a lot of news stories.
Oh,
No.
I see.
Oh, is Sean back?
So,
Yeah.
the UK government have decided it's a good idea to send a project called Cassiopeia into. It's going to be a constellation of large satellites around the Earth.
Uh-huh.
I used to have a dog called Cassie. She was quite a peer as well.
Cassiopeia, this is a big W. And the idea is to basically reflect. This reminds me of. You ever see Die Another Day, the Bond film, 2002, Project Icarus, where they redirected the sun's energy to sort of dark corners of the Earth? Well, that's basically the plan. They're going to try and microwave Earth from space.
Hi.
Because we don't have enough problem with climate change and global
Yeah, I was
warming.
going to
Well,
say
that's
it's
right.
heating up enough.
But do you have to make... What do we do with all the...
Are they going to point it at Glasgow? Because that's actually a good idea.
Well, I'm just wondering what to do with all the metal stuff. Do we have to, like, bury all the metal stuff or, like, send it off the planet? Does it not go all, like, lots of light?
You have to move it to a different continent until you're finished.
What about all the cars and things? They can't put them in the microwave.
They're going to fire why?
Why what?
Why are they going to fire microwaves at the Earth?
Well, for energy. As an alternative source of energy. So it's a different take on solar power.
Yeah, so they're
I
not
haven't
just
seen
they're
the
not
plan,
just
but
they're not just firing it onto the surface, they're firing it into a collector.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's super-powered solar panels because you can use mirrors to reflect extra sunlight onto them. But if you do it with microwaves instead, you can make for a very efficient solar collection surface on the ground, which basically means that you're turning lots and lots and lots of sunlight into electricity on the ground because it's the only way to get it down from orbit.
Okay.
It's kind of the first stage of a mini Dyson swarm.
It is. It is.
We can use the air conditioners to keep the planet cool.
I'm not going to say it. Is it dangerous?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Or is that Dyson with death?
Oh, badoom-tish. See? Yeah, what they're going to do is they're going to use it to power a giant fridge and leave the door open.
Well, that's it. I do my bit for global warming every morning. I leave the fridge door open for a bit and then close it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, somebody's
Pink?
Has somebody just been discorded?
Somebody's just been something.
It wasn't me.
Don't know, but it sounded uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Not me.
Right.
Right.
Have we got... Going to do the next bit, Flossy?
I think it's Flossy's time to shine.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just as though she was being microwaved from space.
I was just shining the torch to try and find something under my desk, as it happens. Right. Yeah. This week's Too Hot, Too Messy mug winner is... Hang on, get out in the door. Meanwhile... Okay, this week's winner is... Colin Starcatcher.
Yay! Corwin Starcatcher.
Would anybody say that
Well done, Starwin.
didn't quite go to plan?
Utterly seamless.
Good
Seamless.
My fault. I wasn't sure how it was doing.
That's Corwin Car Scratcher.
Colin
that?
Starcatcher.
Starwin Crutch Scratcher, right?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Starwin Core Masher.
Crotch Scratcher.
Colin, I'm sorry for my co-presenters. Making fun of your name. Colin Starcatcher.
Oh, nice. Well, you know,
I probably mispronounced Corwin because I know these Welsh names are nothing
no,
like
I think it's Corwin. Anyway, we also still have 2 Halloween paint jobs still unclaimed, lying unclaimed. They're getting dusty now.
You know what happens to people that don't claim their prizes, don't you?
Yeah. So if you're still awaiting your Halloween paint job, give us a shout. But you know, you need to contact us and let us know. So, and it's the same. We still have a one Too Hot Too Messy mug, a Hutton mug unclaimed. Can you believe that?
The trouble is, we probably better not say who it is either, because then there'll be a whole swarm of "I'm Spartacus."
I'm Spartacus, yes.
And it's not. It is Commander Spartacus.
Yeah. If you're on the Hutton Helper and there's a yellow mug next to your name and nobody sent you a Hutton mug, there's a reason for that.
We want to
because
hear
you haven't
from
told
you.
us who you are.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we know who you are, but we don't know where you live.
Yeah.
I know where you
Possibly
live.
sensible of them, really.
Yeah. And if you don't want it, just tell us you don't want it, or
that's fine.
don't do anything, and we'll assume you don't want it.
Yeah. But just to be sure, you might want to email itookpart@huttonorbital.com to collect your fabulous prize.
Have we considered it's possible that they're actually just too ill with mods to contact us?
Well, that's a possibility, yeah. There's always a possibility.
Well, a mug will cure that.
Exactly.
It would. So yeah, they need to get in touch. And that's the same for our Hutton mug winner for this week.
And if you don't have a mug and you'd like a mug, what do you have to do?
Well, if you don't have a mug and you'd like a mug, what you have to do is send 10 Hutton mugs.
10 mugs in a stamped addressed envelope.
Stamped addressed envelope, yes. So you'd have to sell 10 mugs and 10 gin during the next 7 days as part of Too Hot Too Messy, and be on the Hutton Helper so that we can see it. Otherwise, you won't get picked.
Well, then you'll go into a draw to be.
Yeah, but only if you've done it and you're on the Hutton Helper.
Otherwise, you don't automatically get sent a mug if you.
No, you don't. But you've no chance of winning if you're not on Hutton
clear.
Helper, and if you don't deliver 10 mugs and 10 gin, you have got no chance.
Yeah, that's definitely the most reliable method of getting a chance to mug.
It is possibly the only. Yeah.
Oh no, there is another method. You can track Mia down and stand outside your window at night and serenade you at 3 o'clock in the morning until you throw a mug out the window at the serenader to make them go away.
Yeah, you'd either have to be Spider-Man or on a genie to do that.
Or just sing very loud. But there's no guarantee it'll be a Hutton mug you throw at them, you see, that way.
Yeah,
this, if you deliver these, you definitely get a real, genuine, shiny Hutton mug.
Oh, imagine that if you get your head split open by something that turned out to be a Galnet news mug.
Or a shittier mug.
A shittier mug, yes. Or just like a mug from IKEA. Oh, dear. So yeah,
started this all off.
And I think
One Direction was it?
Oh, One Direction was,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I don't have one of those, unfortunately, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
missed that convention.
Likewise.
So I think the other thing is just community events. Let us know about your community event. There is a Discord channel for the correspondence for communities events. So if you get an event upcoming and something you want us to kind of help you get out there,
Please.
Yeah.
Please. I've not had any on there for
It's
a few weeks now.
Flossy loves talking about them. And she's not got any to talk about.
I've got one to talk about this week.
Have you got one to talk about?
Yeah. There's a Mr. Ving Tetun has announced that, as is traditional at this time of year, I'll be hosting a little mini Hutton get-together on Saturday evening over at a steak restaurant in Harrogate. Our usual haunt unfortunately went out of business during COVID times, but we tried a new place last year and it was fantastic.
Oh, very nice.
So we've been invited to Harrogate for a free steak dinner. Did I hear that right?
No,
Yeah.
you need to get your ears stretched.
21's paying.
Yeah, I'm sure he said something about he'll pick up the bill.
No, he said he'd pick up the bill. He didn't say he'd pay the bill.
Oh,
He's claiming it back on expenses, you see.
Yeah. Oh, I was just
Didn't read the small
I was
print.
going to go and order extra chips as well.
They actually, at the restaurant, they do a man versus food challenge
Uh-oh.
of
Who else?
72-ounce steak.
Oh, no.
10 ounces of chips and all of the trimmings, obviously, and it's a big plate full of trimmings. And you get an hour. And if you can finish it in an hour, it's free.
That is some. My
He
local
wouldn't be able to
pub
finish
in,
it in an hour because he wouldn't be able to stop talking long enough to sit for an hour and eat it.
my local pub in
Not a chance, is
Macclesfield.
there?
My local in Macclesfield, not in Macclesfield, but in the borough of Macclesfield, used to do the same. 48-ounce steak with all the, it was effectively Sunday lunch, and if you could finish it, you could have it for free.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I'll bother with that.
I saw
very-
one once, but
Yeah, I'm very sad about the regular haunt closing, though. The burgers there were just superb.
Yeah.
But I've heard good things about Cattleman's, the place we're going instead, so we
Was
shall
that-
see if it's any good or not.
Was the other place, was that the one that did the donut and custard burger and things
Yes.
like that? Yeah.
And it was fabulous.
donut and custard burger, that's disgusting.
It's a proper burger, but instead of a bun, or instead of a brioche bun, as they so often do these days, they use Krispy Kreme donuts.
No, that's just wrong.
And just like Dave Lister's triple fried egg chili chutney sandwich, it sounds like it shouldn't work, but it did.
No,
I'll have
it's
the donut without the burger. Thank you.
That
It's
was what I
like,
thought, but I tried it and I stood corrected. It was amazing.
A
like
triple fried
don't
egg
like burgers.
a triple fried egg chili chutney sandwich does sound like it should work.
Just like
It depends on the chili, really.
just like farting in lifts. That's wrong on many levels.
Yes.
After a triple fried egg chili chutney sandwich, you probably
There's going to be a
fart in
lot.
every lift you went near.
God, you imagine 72 hours. Imagine the meat sweats. God.
Yeah. It's probably got a big bit of fat on the edge of it as well, just to...
Have you got to eat that as well?
Oh, you'll have to eat the
Oh
whole
yeah,
thing,
you've
yeah.
got to clean the plate. Yeah.
Couldn't eat that.
For those of us of a certain age, you remember the thing Desperate Dan used to have, and it was
Oh, a cow pie.
like served
Yeah.
on a... Well, like this, the steaks had a massive like dinosaur bone through them, and then they were like served on a dustbin lid, not even a dustbin lid. It was like somebody had made a plate out of the bonnet of a Mini, and he would just shovel it all down. And cow pie as well, of course, with the horn sticking out.
Yep.
But yeah, if anybody wants to join us in Harrogate, I'll be there, and well, it's a good time to target Hutton Technicals because there'll be quite a lot of Hutton Techs there. So yeah, if anybody wishes to join us, contact David on Facebook, and he will get in touch and tell you all the details.
And that's Saturday night.
change. That's Saturday night, so 2 days from now.
Ooh.
It's not that far down from Glasgow, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It's no further than I'm going from Macclesfield.
It's one of those places that's a long way from everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too far
I
from
know.
me.
I used to live there 20 odd years ago.
Probably uphill in every direction as well.
Oh, you've been to Harrogate, have you?
They've been to Betty's tea room.
Nope, never went.
I've been to
Lived there
Betty's.
for a few
I've
years.
been to
Never
Betty's
went
of
to
York.
Betty's.
Yeah. Betty's was nice. We had
I do like the coffee though. The Tales of Harrogate coffees are good.
You imagine Betty's T-bone steak room. That would.
Oh,
that'd be
it's
sort of-
a whole different clientele.
yeah, it's a fusion of.
Little china cups and enormous ceramic flappies.
Yes.
Yeah, like a
Pursuit gentlemen in black t-shirts
like
sitting
a
around
Sports
with tiny
Direct mug of
teacups.
tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So we.
I think we probably should make a move. So, one last item. What has 100 legs, 25 noses, and is very, very loud? It's a herd of stampeding aardvarks. Aardvark! 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 Anyway, let's introduce Flossy with the CG News.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. There's no CGs to report from last week. We didn't have any. New CGs from today. Azimuth to expand operational assets. Azimuth Biotech has announced a campaign in the One Drama system to expand its military and surface facility capacity. The controversial weapons developer has seen a recent downturn in fortunes due to fierce opposition by independent pilots protesting Azimuth's history of illicit research. The failure of Salvation to bring an end to the war has also soured public sentiment towards the corporation. Azimuth Biotech CEO Torben Raidmaker announced the initiative. After a period of reflection, it is time for Azimuth to once again step forward and assume a position of support for the brave pilots engaging Thargoid forces wherever they are encountered. To do this, we shall establish a new megaship equipped to operate in Thargoid-tainted systems. The tragic loss of the Bright Sentinel and Heart of Taurus in HIP 22460 must not hinder our ambition any further. We also intend to operate several surface outposts to aid our research projects. We aim to contribute to humanity's military options once again, being careful not to repeat the mistakes of our former figureheads. Pilots contributing to Azimuth's campaign, hosted at the Musashi Megaship in Gondrama, will be granted a Mabuni permit and access to the company's range of anti-Xeno weaponry. Raidmaker has promised that a successful campaign will allow for the glorious prospect to offer the Mabuni permit from the T-Tory system permanently. The top 75% of contributors to the delivery campaign will receive the Mabuni permit. To be eligible for rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before delivering ceramic composites, cobalt, energy grid assemblies and power generators to the Musashi megaship in the Wondrana system. The campaign began today and will run for 1 week. The final target met earlier than planned, it will end immediately. Protect Azimuth deliveries from anarchists. Within hours of the announcement, opponents of Azimuth Biotech had organised a counter-campaign to prevent deliveries from reaching Wondrama. Combat between Azimuth security forces and anti-Azimuth activists has been reported in the system. In response, Azimuth is hosting a combat initiative from the Musashi megaship alongside the ongoing delivery campaign. Azimuth Biotech has offered the following rewards to attract support from independent pilots. The top 75% of contributors will receive 1 fixed mount Class 2 overcharged Guardian plasma charger. The top 25% of contributors will receive 2 fixed mount Class 2 overcharged Guardian plasma chargers. Please note, if you had any crew members, all your combat of your proportion of your combat bonds will be automatically assigned to them, etc. And to be eligible for rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in combat bonds at the Musashi megaship in the Wondrama system. And the third CG, disrupt Azimuth's resource campaign. Wondrama Purple Council has stated it will lead efforts to prevent Azimuth Biotech's asset expansion campaign from succeeding. A spokesman for the anti-Azimuth coalition simply stated, Azimuth's continued operation is a stain on the conscience of humanity. The sooner this shameless corporation is dissolved, the better. We aim to ensure its leaders face justice for the many crimes they have perpetrated. Opponents of Azimuth Biotech have joined this counter-campaign to prevent deliveries from reaching the Musashi megaship. Combat between Azimuth security forces and anti-Azimuth activists has been reported in the Wondrama system. It is believed that efforts to derail the campaign are being directed from McLean City. To attract pilots to its cause, Wondrama Purple Council has offered the following weapon rewards. The top 75% of contributors will receive 1 fixed mount Class 2 rapid-fire multi-cannon with phasing sequence. The top 25% of contributors will receive 2 fixed mount Class 2 rapid-fire multi-cannons with phasing sequence. To be eligible for rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in combat bonds at McLean City in the Wondrama system. The two factions have set out week-long operations to take control of the system, which will begin on the 3rd of November. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
As I look out across a vast, ancient landscape, the mists clear just enough that I see 2 eldritch figures as they move around a cyclopean altar stone. They have the appearance of huge oval-shaped barrels with starfish-like appendages at both ends. Tentacles flail as they chant blasphemous, guttural pronouncements, which eat remorselessly at the very edges of my sanity. Ah, no, it's just Wotherspoon and Beetlejuice with the Galnet News Digest.
Galnet News Update, 2nd of November 3308. There's no longer any doubt. The Stargoids are heading to the human-inhabited core systems. with 2 of the 8 Stargoids having come past the California Nebula, past the Witchhead Nebula, and past the Pleiades. They're very clearly heading towards the cluster of stars around Sol. The closest inhabited systems in the bubble to unidentified stellar anomaly number 1 are less than 170 light-years away. There's also very little doubt that the Stargoids are Thargoid technology and that they're hostile. Commanders have repeatedly reported being hyperdicted by aggressive Thargoids when close to the Stargoids, and the Stargoids are leaving a trail of destroyed human spacecraft in their wake. And yet, there's a growing peace movement. Not just the Thargoid cult, but also the Thargoid Advocacy Project, which has commissioned a megaship of peace to negotiate terms with the Thargoids. Its advocate and sponsor, Federal Governor Dalton Chase, hopes that the megaship can demonstrate to the Thargoids just how friendly humans can be. Federal Ambassador Jasmina Halsey has expressed her doubts about whether or not we'll be able to find a common frame of reference with the Thargoids. They may simply not think the same way as us. The Thargoids may not understand, and even if they do, they may not see a reason to negotiate peace. However, argues Halsey, we must at least try to reach an agreement with the Thargoids. If nothing else, we can at least say we tried. Others are less hopeful. Professor Seamus Madigan of Olympus Village University looks to the written records left by the ancient Guardian civilization. They learned to communicate with the Thargoids, but the Thargoids rejected all attempts at peace, choosing instead to attempt to annihilate the Guardians. The Guardians managed to drive the Thargoids back, but in the process destroyed their own civilization. And the host of the Ghastly Past's Icecast, Jaya Chowdhury, believes we've burned our bridges with the Thargoids when we first tried to wipe them out using the mycoid virus 150 years ago, and then again tried to annihilate them using the Proteus Wave weapon in August this year. The common factor in both of these attempts was Caleb Wycherley, also known as Salvation, but the Thargoids seem unlikely to make a distinction between Salvation and other humans. Meanwhile, following the Empire's refusal to consider working together with the Federation and Alliance to reform Aegis to present a united front against the Thargoids, Alliance Deputy Prime Minister Angela Corcoran has failed to secure time to debate her bill to provide funding for a reformed Aegis. Aegis could have formed a bridge between those advocating peace with the Thargoids and those determined to hunt them down. Its former head of research, Professor Albert Tesreau, is keen to understand the motivation of the Thargoids, to communicate with them if possible, and also to be prepared to resist their attack should all other avenues fail. She's been working with engineers Ramtar and Professor Palin, who've been researching the recently discovered unclassified relics, which may provide the breakthrough that'll allow new defences to be created against the Thargoids. She's also been working on understanding the Thargoids' language, with the help of a former Project Seraph test subject. The Empire's refusal to cooperate with the other superpowers includes not just Aegis, but also all forms of military preparation for the coming Thargoid attack. The Alliance Defence Force has been more positive, but even it finds its military leaders split. 3 members of the Council of Admirals, led by Sirius Corporation's Admiral Nicholas Glass, believe that the ADF should remain with its current strategic anti-Xeno partner, the Sirius Corporation, whereas Admirals George Varma, Rachel Ziegler, and Liam Flanagan support Federal Vice Admiral Juno Rochester's concept of a united, glorious Grand Armada to protect the bubble from Thargoids. Ziegler also spoke out in favour of re-establishing Aegis. However, the casting vote, Fleet Admiral Haley Sorokin, has not yet expressed an opinion, deferring the decision to the politicians of the Alliance Assembly. Perhaps the arrival of the Stargoids in the bubble, which is expected within days, will help those like Fleet Admiral Sorokin to make up their minds.
Thank you to the Walker in the Wastes, Beetlejude, and the Dog of 1,000 Forms, Wotherspoon. From one madness-inducing gothic horror to another, it's Shoggoth Mia Harkness spouting foul protrusions with the Hutton Helper results.
Tulu Fatang, everyone! Welcome to the Hutton Helper results. The Hutton Helper results are sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with an asteroid full of void opals. Don't spend it all in the one shop now. This week we have the following events. The Looking in Every Corner for Treasure Cup. The Good News, you're a billionaire. Bad News, you're an Australian billionaire. Champion of Champions Championship. The Dear Buddha, please bring me a pony and a plastic rocket, etc, etc. Deja Vu Trophy. The Wearing Your Best Bounty Hunting Tiara Charity Shield. The Designer Monogrammed Beam Lasers Party Game Spectacular. The Solid Gold Belugas for Everyone People's Choice Award. So, put a Fabergé egg on to boil for 3 minutes, hang another Van Gogh in the loo, and throw coins at the peasants as you pass by. The Hutton Helper results are: Cometborn jumped 56,000 light years to come first in distance travelled. Major Starseed sold 59,000 tonnes of cargo. Mind Whippy is our top mission runner with 730 mission points. Alex Zuno has handed in 1,222,222,222 credits worth of bounties. Meat 11 handed in 474 million credits of combat bonds, and Scratching McCrackers, that's Scratching Manackers, delivered 2,069 people to their various destinations. So, decals this week for Scratching Manackers, that's Scratching Manackers, Get a Doy for Ormind, and that's it. So please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of a bottle of Chateauneuf de Pape, caviar on toast, and a full tub of Lurpak for extra luxury. There have been 15 Hutton runs in the last 7 days, and the top 5 times are Impala Mark with 1 hour, 22 minutes and 52 seconds, Manu Workel with 1 hour, 23 minutes and 32 seconds, Kintosh 1 hour, 23 minutes and 53 seconds, Norbert Patenod 1 hour, 24 minutes and 29 seconds, and Uber Dave 5993 with 1 hour, 24 minutes and 30 seconds. Anyway, there is a whole galaxy of stuff out there needing ejected, appointed, manhandled or woman-handled, smeared, drained, deflected, irrigated, sniffed, snuffled, postponed, hidden from, flipped, mistranslated to and from Spanish, chilled, mugged, gin, shipped, shot, rescued, tickled, looted, repaired, destroyed, bought, sold, squeezed, inflated, burnt, frozen, liquidated, evaporated, sandblasted, smelled, licked, discombobulated, recombobulated, head-butted, rubbed, compressed, enveloped, strained, fermented, poached, interrobanged, upcycled, violently downcycled, smelted, loved, adored, cherished, and probinated. And you can earn yourself a very fetching Hutton decal for doing it. To get involved, you just have to go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the spectacular Hutton Helper, available in 3 exciting formats. Let's face it, anything has to be better than dropping your diamond-encrusted diamond into the toilet. Anyway, that's it for me for this week. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Mia. Well, since we have no Amelia this week, sadly that means that there's no Galnet Rares Digest. So there's not really anything more to say except we have a video. Part 2 of the story from HCS. Did Connors make it in time to board the Hutton carrier? Did he get eaten by the Thargoids? Has Paul got over the cold he had when he was giving the mission instructions? What's any of this got to do with Gamma? Run, VT!
they waiting? Vega, landing pad, please.
Yes, sir. Docking request confirmed. Landing pad allocation received. Engines are powered down. Cooling process initiated. Running integrity checks. Done. Caution, opening doors.
Alright, I'll head up to the bridge and show some courtesy for the waiting around they did for us.
Understood. Anything more, sir?
I'll be back in a while, but do what you can to get the ship in the best shape possible.
Aye, aye, sir.
Landing pads protected. Hangar secured.
A lot of people just going about their business as if the recent events didn't happen. There's an eerie quiet almost everywhere you go. To me, it just feels like the eve of something more than ominous is about to happen, followed by a mass exodus of humanity across the galaxy. Who knows? Maybe this whole thing with a flare will pass and everything will get back to normal. That's the hope, right? But I rather believe this eerie quiet in the aftermath of recent events will soon be replaced with panic. Lots of panic. Vega, you reading me?
Reading you loud and clear.
I'm assuming you fueled up and got the ship in shape for search and rescue?
We're good to go, sir. Welcome back. Pre-launch diagnostic checks. Repairs, fuel, weapons, check. Hull integrity 100%. Internal scans done. Systems running optimally. Departure procedures initiating.
Vega, disengage supercruise on my mark.
Standing by.
Mark.
Disengaging. Contact.
Go red alert.
Red alert confirmed.
Belay that order.
Understood. Stand down, red alert confirmed.
I have a feeling we should maybe just act normal. It might just leave us alone. Or maybe not.
Warning. Scan detected.
Come on. Get out of here, will ya?
I recommend we attempt evasion, Commander.
Why, thank you, Sherlock. Now, engage thrusters gently.
Engaging thrusters.
Move along. Nothing to see here. It's moving off to that other wreckage. Vega, wait up a second.
All stop.
Is that the Bastion?
Correct. The ship is stranded and damaged. The situation looks grim.
Scan the area for any signs of life that might be our two missing crew.
Yes, sir. Scanning for survivors. None detected. Unfortunate.
I should probably contact command, but they're gonna tell me just to get on with recovering this encrypted data. Plus they have their own rescue to keep them busy. Looks like there's some canisters floating near the Bastion. See if your scan identified any encrypted data among these canisters.
Scanning for salvage. Found. On screen.
Yeah, that's it for sure. Also keep an eye on that oversized sunflower.
Locking onto target.
Let's try and get this canister aboard without damaging anything. I hope what we need is intact. Easy does it. We've got one shot at this.
Commander, incoming transmission.
Right. Connor's here.
Connors, have you located the remaining crew?
Just about to pick up the data. Hold on a second. Got it.
Nice catch. I guess you didn't find them.
The two remaining personnel. No, they didn't make it.
Yeah, bad news. And I've got even more bad news.
Go on.
Their mission. It's now yours.
Their mission?
I'm afraid so. Now, have Vega decrypt that data you just picked up.
Understood. Vega.
Right away, Commander. Recovering data now.
There's a set of authentication codes, or security override codes, within that data. You're going to need those codes to recover a decommissioned military AI. It's residing in a ground installation on a planet not far from you. Once you've landed, you can reach it on foot.
Let me get this straight. I'm gonna wake up a sleeping military artificial intelligence at a ground installation?
Well, there is some risk, but the site should be quiet. There's no personnel or security to worry about.
I'm more concerned with waking the Terminator, if I'm honest.
Listen very carefully. Without those security override codes, the AI will not even deem you worthy of anything less than a firework display, with you as the centerpiece. So make sure you transmit the codes the moment you arrive, and the AI will either verify them, or just blow you to bits.
Vega, remind me not to wear anything red for this one.
Commander?
Never mind. If these override codes do what they're supposed to, then I should be fine, right?
That the codes are verified as being legit for this. You'll be fine. I've just sent the coordinates for the exact location of the ground installation.
When I get down on the surface, what am I looking for exactly?
I'll give you the specifics as best I can. It's like any other small installation. There's also a beacon at the site. It's been adapted to accommodate the military AI. That's your objective. Just transmit the codes when you get there.
The military AI, or whatever it is, you say it was decommissioned. Any idea why?
This AI is unique. It's rare. They just don't make them like that anymore. It's a very special breed, and war is its business. Make of that what you will in terms of it being decommissioned. Let's just get it done.
Acknowledged. Vega, lay in a course for that outpost and get us out of here.
Affirmative. Outpost locked. Setting course.
An artificial intelligence. A military one at that. I can't say I'm a fan, to be honest. Having an AI monitor systems aboard the ship and carry out some standard commands is one thing, but having them do anything more than that is just asking for trouble. It's kind of creepy too. I mean, how do these AI really see us? As their masters? As friends? Whatever happens down there, I know one thing for sure. I'm gonna need a very cold beer when all this is over.
Well.
Wow.
Part 3's due out.
Seamless.
To be continued, did you? Doesn't say when.
There's definitely a third part.
How mysterious.
The first one was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The second one was a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's anything to do with SLS launch schedules, it should be 3 months next Thursday.
Oh, that's just harsh and cruel. And, yeah, okay.
But fair.
Yeah, harsh but fair. Let's go with harsh.
No, if we're really lucky, it might even be tomorrow, but I don't know. So.
Yeah. Well, that's it then, isn't it? There's not much left to do, really, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, there's one thing left to do, isn't there?
Can't be it. Nobody's blasted out my logos yet.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
That was the loud noise warning people that there's about to be a loud noise.
Yes.
Who's doing it?
You want to do it?
On the count of 3. 3. For the mug!
For the mug!
For the mug!
For that mug.
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug. cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the bug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the bug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the bug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the bug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're very sorry, but that's the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too? Get off!
Seamless.